Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to Studio Memoirs. Today I'm going to talk about the next part of the It Bites story. We're going to go a little bit further. We were in Peckham, as you remember the last time, and we were writing all our songs and doing all our demos and everything. And we were living in squats and we were starving hungry and we were suffering for our art in the truest sense of the word. And we were sending these demo tapes off to get the addresses of CBS, and nothing was coming back. And we got one message from Paul Morley who said, "There's no way that you're going to get anywhere with these demos because they're recording on a cassette player." And so we were kind of really, at that point, when you lose hope, because basically all you're running on at that point is hope. And when that goes, you're just kind of like, wow. If we just wasted like 6 months to a year of our lives doing that. And then we said, why don't we just go to the record companies? I think I said it. I was doing my Vietnam thing again. Let's go. I was doing that whole thing. So we got up, we went to Warner Brothers and we were trying to get past the security guys. They wouldn't let us in. These massive, these big black guys at the front of the thing, they were absolutely massive. And they wouldn't let us past. And then this guy walked out and he went, "What's going on?" Because I think we were in like a bit of an argument or something. Like, come on, just like we were talking about, we were just trying to bullshit them. So I don't know what we're doing. We're doing something. It's too far away now. But this guy walked past and said, "What's going on?" And I said, "We just want to go into the record company and give them our demos." And he said, "Well, give me your tape. I'll take it in." So we give him the tape. This was a guy called Martin Mayhead. And then I don't know what happened after that. We went back home or something. And we were all decked out as well. We're like dressed up in like new romantic gear. I remember that. We used to dress up to try and get a record deal. That was a big thing, right? And so we get back to the house and we're just living in hope. And he said, "Call me tomorrow and I'll tell you what I think." So we go around tomorrow and we call him up. And he said he loved it. And that was the beginning, really. That was the real beginning of our entry into the music business. We'd been doing music. It's important to understand that because, there's the music and then there's the music business. And they're not related at all. They're really not like they have different rules. They have different priorities. There's just different things you need to do to be in them. Being in music is one thing. You can do all sorts of stuff, but in the music business, that's a whole other thing. You've got to have everything from the right haircut to the right attitude you have to be able to kiss people's asses real good. There's a lot of stuff that goes down with that music industry thing. And I think Martin was, we were as green as grass. You got to understand, we're like four northern guys who've never, we don't even, we'd heard these things about these bands like Bauhaus and they were talking about sociology lectures and we're like, what the fuck? I don't know. We don't know anything about that. We know about lager, knocking people out at fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. Fucking sociology lectures. What are they talking about? So there was like college scene that the bands were on that, and that was hip in the melody making and all that stuff. And we didn't know anything about that. We were just green as grass. But this guy Martin gave us a shot, and we called him, and then he set up demos for us. He paid for the demos, and I remember we went and we did these demos, and he started shopping our deal around the record companies because he obviously was in the business. He used to play. He worked for this guy called Clive Banks, and he had this company called Modern Media. They used to do I remember doing Simply Red at the time, and they were doing who was that other band they were doing? The Faith Brothers. They had this. I remember this fly poster thing they did all around London. Have Faith Brothers. You know what I mean? Now, the Faith Brothers are a good band actually. There was a few people. And so we'd heard that Virgin liked it, but the A&R guy, John Waller, said there's no way we can do that live. They can't produce that live. That's what he was saying to us. They won't be able to do that live. They can't do that live. Yeah. But John was like a blues guy, so he wanted a live band. He wanted to do a live band. So they brought him down to see us, and we blew the fucking lid right off his head because we were seriously intense. We're like 19 or 20 or something. I don't know, 21 something. I don't know how old we were. We were pretty young, but we were fucking intense. Like when the band started up, it was like it was crazy, man. And so now Virgin loved us, and they brought everybody down. They brought, what do you call a guy, Simon, somebody, Jelly Lascelles, Simon Draper, all these guys come down. And they decided they were going to sign It Bites. And we were just, we'd just blown them to pieces. We literally blew them. We did like 3 or 4 songs for them. And I think we did like Screaming on the Beaches, Turn Me Loose, All in Red, and what else was it on that album? Calling All the Heroes. And it was just like, it was like bang, 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 bang. There wasn't it was just, we were so like tight and so rehearsed. And the thing is when you want something, you get what you concentrate on. If you're that intent, like when you're prepared to do what it takes to get what you wanted. Think about what we did. We lived in squats. We starved. We did demo after demo on a cassette. We wrote songs. Like the whole focus. That is the movement that gets you to where you get a record deal. It's that intent. All the intent. There was 4 of us living into the same future. It was the same. So it's like a laser beam going in the same direction. You're all living into the same future. That's one of the things you need to know, like in companies or anything like that. The goal is to get everybody living in the same future. And once you start everybody's living in the same future, you can usually get what you want. But you've got to align everybody's intent. And we were naturally aligned. We all wanted the same thing. We were all on the same boat. We all saw it the same way. We weren't particularly doing the singles thing or trying to, fame wasn't really the thing we were doing. We just wanted to do. We thought we were going to change Radio 1 by putting 9-minute songs on Radio 1. Because we loved the music that much, we thought they're going to start playing longer songs. Like doing all that. This is in music. We weren't in the music industry, like we didn't understand it. But we really thought, like we were just doing these songs. We had no thoughts whatsoever towards hit singles. We were just doing music. We were absolutely doing music. We wrote pop anyway. We were kind of poppy anyway. So, we weren't, but some of the songs like Hunting the Whale, which we wrote in the early days, they were quite experimental, like the way we were going about that. We had a bunch of songs like that that were definitely, off to the left a bit. But the intent of 4 of us just going for that one thing, you couldn't stop that. There's no chance. And so here we are in this rehearsal room. It was called Clink Studios. I remember Clink Studios. I can't remember what town it was in, but like Tower Bridge or something. Yeah, it will have been because of Clink. Yeah, they've been doing that. So Clink Rehearsal Studios at Tower Bridge. And we were psyched as well because we'd see people like Bananarama were there. I'd get on the phone and call my sister, Faye, Bananarama were there. We were all psyched and all that. Who was that other band? King, Paul King or something, like doing his, I can't remember what that song was. They had a big song, I can't remember. Like all that lot. And, like there was a few bands, we saw down there and we thought like, we're in the music industry. You've got to understand how green as grass we were and how innocent we were. We were innocent as fuck. Were really innocent. It Bites. Such an innocent 4 innocent lads down there in that whole fucking, just whatever the music industry is. But we were innocent. We were like real innocent. Like we were good guys. We were like really good guys. All of us. There was not a bastard in the band. We weren't. I wasn't even a bastard back then, right? And. And it couldn't have happened to a nicer bunch of guys, I'm telling you. And the thing the one thing that I think maybe goes by the side with It Bites is that there was very rarely a serious conversation. It wasn't, we were serious about the music and, we'd get, I guess that was it actually. The music was, that was the only serious conversation we had. Outside of that, it was all fucking unbelievably inappropriate humour and fun, just like an app. We had our own humour. Like when we'd go out, we didn't mix with anybody. We had our own road crew. We had like Cully and Reich were our 2 roadies, and we had I'll go into that on the next It Bites section because that's when we got the deal and we signed the deal. I don't want to go that far this time. I just want to give you like the early days, how green we were in the rehearsals and how we got the deal and. But we were laughing, even though we had nothing. We didn't have a pot to piss in. We had no cigarette. We had nothing. You can ask any of the guys. We had nothing, and we were all together there. Nobody fucking complained. None of us complained. I'm just thinking that now. There was no complaint. We were having the time of our life. We were having the time of our life and we were skint. We had no food. We had a whole big chunk of hope. And it was just the most amazing, exciting, amazing time. Living in Peckham, 46A Nutcroft Road. Absolutely amazing. And, you know, it was only because we were all on the same, you know, we had the same future, we were doing the same things, but the jokes continued the entire time with It Bites up until the very, very end. When you know, I'll get to that at some point, but it was just jokes. Even when I call Bob and Dick now, you know, when I call them, nobody knows where John is, so I can't call him. And but Bob and Dick, we don't, you know, I'll get texts from them all the time, and it's always funny. It's funny stuff. Like Bob and Dick, they were fucking hilarious. You know, they were funny. They're very funny. It was Cumbrian Northern humour. We had like our own version. You know, we had our own thing. When we went out in a whole group, and we just stayed together. We were always together. We never kind of branched off. There was a couple of nights when I was drinking out with Andrew Ridgely and all that stuff. I'll tell you about that another time. Well, when I went. I don't even know what I did with him, but he thought he was like on the edge, Andrew, hanging out with us. You shouldn't hang out with It Bites, because we were going for it. You know what I mean? That poor lad just getting into trouble hanging out with us. But that was it. That was the lead up to the, you know, and then from that point on, we were writing and we were doing all that stuff, but we were when Virgin said they want to sign the band, we were just like, fucking yeah. And then there was a long waiting period, about 6 months, where they put the contract together, and it drives you insane because you're dying to sign the record deal, and it just goes on and on with fucking lawyers and on and on. You hear all these words, and you don't have a clue what's going on. You're not like, and these people say you shouldn't have 80-20, you should have 75-20. It's like, you know. We're just happy to have a fucking record deal. I don't care if they don't even pay us anymore. Take all the fucking money. We just want to be in the record. We want to have a record deal. We want to tell my mum, I've got a record deal. It was a big thing back then. It was big. It was a big thing. Like going on Top of the Pops. It was huge. You know, there was no like TV shows like there are now where you couldn't just like record one like this and do this. There was none of this. It was like, this was the fucking proper stuff. We were on telly. We signed a record deal. We signed a fucking record. That was a huge thing back then. And so that's where we are. So the 6 months we're just writing songs and everything like that. And then we had more hope than ever at this point. It was just such a great time because we knew we were going to sign the record deal. A bit frustrating sometimes, but it was just a great time. The record deal was coming. We'd worked our fucking asses off. We'd finally got a record deal. We had great songs. We had people who loved our songs. And we were about to record an album. Now we had to find a producer. I'll tell you that on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Go press that subscribe button. And I'll see you real soon. God bless you guys. Thank you. Bye.